Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be doing our fourth Lord House series. And what happens when the planet that controls your fourth house, planet whose sign is in your fourth house in your birth horoscope, when that planet was sitting in the ascendant during the time of your birth, what happens? And obviously, if you do not know where your fourth lord is placed and where your planetary alignments are, for that, check out the link here. And on this website, you'll get your full astrological report, including all my books on astrology. So this way, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because the page 37 of my report clearly tells you first lord in this house, first lord in that house. So you can look at the videos that I've made so far, which is up to like all the covered all the third lord through houses. So fourth lord through house. What is the fourth house? Fourth house represents your mother. Fourth house represents the nourishment of the mother. It represents all kinds of conveniency, like home, vehicles, air conditioner, refrigerator, microwave. Anything that you need in life that makes you feel convenient is seen from the fourth house. Fourth house is also a representation of your childhood, meaning people from your homeland, people that you grew up with, people that you were around, people that you created some childhood memories with. It is also known as the house of politics, because in order to be good in politics, you need to win the heart of your homeland people. Okay, because usually in politics, a native has to be born in its own land to become a prime minister or president of that country. But so in this house, the public is represented that will vote for you. Okay, fourth house, as I said, represents your home, represents the house, represents land, and land is represented by Mars. So Mars kind of becomes a significator of this house in terms of land. But the true significator of this house is Moon, because it's mother, emotions, okay? Your private life. Fourth house is also a private life, because fourth house is a place where sun is at its darkest, which is around midnight, like between 11 and 12. Sun will always be in the fourth house. So it shows that because sun is your ego, it shows the private life. So fourth house is known as a house of private life. So when this lord goes into the first house, what happens? Well, first house is your what? First house is personality, your ego, your self-esteem, how you behave in public, your outer image. It's also the house of your health. It sets the tone of every single aspect of your life. So rising sign or the ascendant becomes very important. And obviously you might be thinking why I'm filming outside is because my house or my apartment is a complete mess. Since we are moving in literally less than 9 days, all you will see is just boxes, 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 because we want to be ready when the thing comes. Because right next day that we move, we have a baby shower at this hotel here near B Hills. So yeah, that's why I'm filming outside. So let's get started. What happens when fourth lord is in the first house? Well, what it shows is that your personality was developed by people of your homeland. But people, you are very cultured, you're very conservative. Your mother set the tone of your personality. Your mother, people in your private life, especially in your homeland, your people, friends from childhood, were really the ones who kind of made you how you are today. The way you express is a reflection of your fourth house. The way you show yourself is a reflection of your fourth house. So, as in culture, as in, the society that you lived and grew up in, and your mother has a very strong influence on your personality. Now, this can also be a bad thing where your mother abandoned you, and so you created this personality of detachment. You don't let anybody get closer to you because your moon might have been damaged. So it can go either way, good or bad. But the personality will be formed mainly by the mother, people of homeland. Your cultural conservative attitude will be shown into your personality. However, and also it shows that your conveniency in your life, like your home, your car, anything that makes you feel comfortable, will happen through your own effort, meaning that you will be responsible for creating that, because fourth house energy is coming to you. So what it can also show is that your mother can give you her home. You can inherit your mother's home. You can inherit your mother's belongings, and they will come to you because it's coming to you. and you will get the house. And it's a good thing because you will get the house with ease, because a certain house qualities is coming to you. So people of your homeland are attracted to you. So if you go into politics, people of the homeland will be coming to you to vote for you. So it's quite a great and great placement. And in a way, this also creates a very light Raj Yoga, because the Lord of the Kendra in Vedic astrology is going into the Trikon, the first house, okay, which is a Trikon house. So anytime Lord of the Kendra goes into Trikon, Trikon goes into Kendra, creates a Raj Yoga. So that means in your time period of whatever planet is ruling the fourth house, you can have a home. However, whatever planet is controlling your fourth house and then goes into the ascendant will have a different outcome of its own. Although everything, the foundation will be the same, but your expressing of that, the planet will express itself differently through your personality. So let's discuss that. If Sun controls your fourth house, goes into the ascendant, what this shows is that you are very egoistic about your country where you were born. You have this pride about the cultural value that your mom instilled in you, the cultural value that your childhood friends and people instilled in you. And you become this egoistic conservative person who likes to express his personality like a leader of his land, leader of his culture, who wants to push his cultural values onto others through himself. So first of all, it's a very great placement for politics. If you want to go into politics, you can easily because now people of the fourth lord, people of the homeland, as in the fourth house, are coming to you. And Sun is a leader. Sun is your ego, your personality, your self-esteem. It's a significator of your career. Sun represents government. Sun represents father. So what it also shows in a way that what it tells me that your mother had an influence like a father upon you. Even though your father was present in your life, but because father's sign was ruling your fourth house, it shows your mother was really becoming that significator of your personality in a fatherly way. She's the one who was in charge of the home. She's the one who was like overshadowing like a lioness over your dad. You're like, ah, you better listen to me. Kind of like that. I kind of lose myself sometimes, so forgive me on that. Moon. Moon controls your fourth house, goes into the first house, shows that your emotional self is developed through the people of the homeland. You're a very private person because Moon represents, mind, mother. Moon represents emotions. And your emotions are very headstrong. They're very adamant about what they believe in. Your mind is always about competition and how to, it's like survival of the fittest. You are here, you want to help the people of your homeland and help them survive through any condition. So you're emotionally attached to your homeland, but at the same time, since in the sign of fiery Aries as a fourth lord, it shows that Moon is ready to go ahead and fight for its homeland people. Mind is very strong, competitive, and it wants to be just going straight forward and going out there and just, taking care of things in a very straightforward manner. Your personality, although emotional, it's also about taking care of other people. It may be more like medical, and especially nurses. It can be represented by that. You can be a surgical nurse with this position. And especially the Moon Nakshatra will also play a huge part in this, which we'll cover later on. But Moon here can really give you a, very headstrong emotions that, hey, let's not waste time. Let's do this. I got to take care of my homeland people. I got to take care of my mother. If I got to cut your throat, I will do that. Okay. Let's say Mercury controls your fourth house, and Mercury, goes into the ascendant. Well, this can show is that, first of all, through the people of your homeland and your mother, you gained a lot of communication skills. Your speech, your communicative ability, all came through your fourth house, meaning your mother, people of the homeland, your people in your privacy, in your home, in your private life. When people do not know what you're doing in your home, those are the things in the home that are being communicated. And obviously, depending upon what sign Mercury is placed in, it'll bring about those qualities, which obviously I'll discuss later on each planet through ascendant, which also I'm writing a book on. So it'll all be discussed in detail. But here it shows that your business skills were really developed through the mother. Your educational skills were developed through the mother because Mercury represents education, business, speech, and any kind of communicative manner. And you become a really good public speaker, especially with the people of the homeland. You can go out there as a politician, give a great speech that will impress the people of the homeland. Either it'll impress them or totally take them out. Depends, you know. And let's say Venus controls your seventh house. I mean, not your seventh house. Venus controls your fourth house, and goes into the ascendant. Shows that your ability to express relationships and how you are in relationships, how you are when you love other people, whether it's a relationship in romance or a relationship with anyone, was developed through your mother, was developed through the people that you grew up with in a homeland. Your personality becomes about beautifying things. And especially this can show somebody who's an interior decorator, because the things of the fourth house, which is home, interior decorations, are coming to you and you are beautifying it. You yourself are now being in charge of what is coming to you, which is this fourth house things. So it can show somebody who's a very creative architect, somebody who's an art teacher, somebody who is into interior decoration, and somebody who expresses their beauty and love of their personality through what their mother has taught them. Okay, let's say Mars controls your fourth house. Mars controls your fourth house. What this shows is that Mars, when it goes into the ascendant, shows you become a leader of your people. You're like, I am, because Mars is a soldier. Mars is like the general, the leader. Mars is your fighting ability, your courage, your willpower. So you have the willpower to take care of your homeland people. But like Moon, which is more about emotional taking care of other people and nurturing other people, you're like, okay, we gotta fight. We gotta do this to win our battle. So what this can show somebody who can be a political activist and yet who may take, violence into their hand in order to take care of their people. So now this can be two things. This can make you a Mahatma Gandhi, or this can make you some terrorist. This can make you some general. This can make you some Hitler, depending upon how many malefic or benefic aspects Mars is receiving, or how the condition of Mars is in your Namansha chart. But really, Mars becomes a power struggle. So your personality, first of all, is like very much, cutthroat. You're out there to just be straightforward like a general, and you get into these power struggles with people regarding your homeland. Now, you may actually get into power struggle with people of your own homeland, but that's usually not the case, because Mars sometimes can look over its own house by being in the ascendant. So it can show you can be a great leader, political leader. You have this really go-getter personality. And your mother was a go-getter. Your mother was this like hard-working, straightforward, dictator type person who you loved, but at the same time, she whooped your ass if you did something wrong. So watch out for that too. And this is a very common theme among real estate agents and people who are into land development, because Mars aspects the fourth house from being in the ascendant. Let's say not Saturn, Jupiter. Let's say Jupiter controls your fourth house and Jupiter goes into the ascendant. What this shows is that Jupiter's your guru, Jupiter's your teacher, your higher learning, your spiritual self, your religious self. Jupiter is about finance, children, any kind of philosophical, religious learning. So what this immediately shows is that your mother was a very religious and a very spiritual person who you considered a guru, and she made you into a guru yourself. She made you how to behave in front of people. You're very conservative, very, religious and spiritual. Depending upon what sign it is in, it might be either religious or spiritual. And you adore your mom a lot. Through your mom, you learned everything about who you are today, whether it's higher spiritual education or even higher PhD and master's degree. Your mother had a really great influence. Your mother herself could have been a teacher. Your mother really taught you and instilled in you a lot of wisdom about life, and you just adore the private life that you have with your mother. You love being in the privacy of your home and just learning through there. And all your spiritual knowledge came through all the gurus and all the elderly people you met in your childhood. And this can also show is that somebody who becomes a spiritual teacher for people of their own homeland. You might become a spiritual teacher, spiritual guru. You might become a professor who goes back to the people of its own homeland and start teaching them. Because again, fourth lord energy is going into the first house, which is becoming 10th from itself, which is becoming the duty and the career of the fourth house. So whatever you do will always somehow involve the fourth house in some way or shape or form. Now let's say Saturn controls your fourth house, goes into the ascendant. What this shows immediately is that you grew up in a very conservative environment, very conservative and very diplomatic environment. You're very, to the point with what you have learned. You're very idealistic about your people of the homeland and your mother. Your mother was a very strict disciplinarian. Your mother shaped your personality in a way that everything has to be organized and everything has to be, on track and structured. And you're a very hardworking personality, and you're willing to even die for the people of your homeland. You have this really hardcore, cultural value within you that makes you a very serious person when it comes to dealing with your mother, home, land, building a home. You can be a home builder. You can be into construction, because Saturn represents construction of a home, where Mars represents the land itself. So it can also represent construction of a home. But mainly, it really shows that your personality is very much about other people. You love working with other people. Other people come to you for help, and you're very serious about taking care of them. You're very serious about giving advice. You're very serious about being a good counselor. So it can represent several things. You can be in the government. You can be a judge. You can be a lawyer. You can be into real estate business, because again, fourth lord energy is coming there. However, things come to you in a slow pace. Your personality gets developed in a slow pace. You will not know your true self with Saturn in the ascendant until you're like 35. Because remember, 3 plus 5 equals 8. 8 is represented by the number of Saturn. This is why they use the number 35 usually to say that Saturn, that's when he starts to really, let you go off his karmic backlog and start giving you what you need to have in this life. Sometimes it doesn't if it's really damaged, but usually it'll show that, in this case, your personality will be developed by the time you're 30. That's when you'll truly understand yourself. Before that, you may not understand yourself, and you're very headstrong and very much involved in the people of your homeland. Even if you're far away, even if you're in a foreign land, you're always thinking about your, people of homeland. That happens with Saturn and Moon both. Moon is emotions. Moon is, I kind of didn't elaborate on that, but Moon is your emotions. Your thinking pattern in your mind is always into your fourth house, your private life. You can become a very private person and very protective person of your home. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis of fourth lord in the the ascendant. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your fourth lord is and all the ins and outs of astrology, like aspects, conjunctions, how to study them, for that, check out this link and check out the report and all my books there. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow with my weekly astrological KRS damn good show.